Jack Reacher got it wrong. A story of dog propaganda, hypervigilance, anxiety, and hormone imbalance. The Jack Reacher actor. Notice him in recent pictures. Notice this: the furrowed eyebrow and the thick eyebrows. This anger, hypervigilance, unhappiness with literally everything in his environment. Notice in his younger years, he was just happy. He's just like, I'm an up and coming actor, I'm looking good. We don't see a lot of furrowed eyebrow. We see a swimmer's body with balanced musculature. Now let's go closer to present day. Look at the look on his face. He's angry. He's upset with everybody around him. He's filled with anxiety, hypervigilance. Most of the scenes in his TV show look like this. He's got this rolled shoulder, flexed upper body, staring at people, furrowed eyebrows, thick muscles and everything going on underneath of his eyebrows. He's angry, he's upset, and he's found a bad person. And he is so interested in letting you know that you're a bad person through his facial expressions. Something that can cause this kind of hypervigilance is having way too much estrogen. That might sound like incorrect, but when you have a body like this, where your upper body is just giant, the trap muscles down here, the shoulder muscles up here, way out of proportion with the skinny legs, that's from taking testosterone. And when you take a lot of testosterone, your body ramps up estrogen. And then you go into this mama bear mode of you need to protect everything and everybody. Everybody is your little puppy. In mammals, it's very common when they're pregnant or give birth to be very protective of their young. Like a mama bear that will attack other animals just for approaching the mama bear when she's out with her cubs. The hypervigilance, the angry look, that's what's going on with the actor. I even noticed some of his pictures look like he's halfway between this. Like maybe when he first started being used as a billboard by Hollywood, he kind of has like, he's not quite angry at everything, but he's more pensive and trying to figure everything out in his environment instead of being like when he was younger, more kind of like carefree, like not worried about everybody else's problem. So this is propaganda, this is hypervigilance, and they're using this guy as a billboard. Here's one of his posts from yesteryears, 2020. Here he's bragging about a dog that pissed on his carpet. So he's just pushing out dog ownership propaganda. And so that's how Jack Reacher got it wrong. He's just way too hypervigilant. He was way too worried about this dog. The sad thing about this propaganda piece, they have such a huge audience and they could put out so much awesome information that would help humans live better and help dogs live better and educate the fellow dog lovers, whether you love dogs or not. 4.7 million views just on this video with 1.28 million subscribers. So let's talk about this water bowl. If they wanted to put some good information out there about the water bowl, they really could have done it pretty easily. So something that can happen with dogs is water intoxication. Dogs are gluttons and they will overdrink and they will fetch toys in the water, and it can lead to death and other symptoms. That's one reason why the dog may have had his water intake limited. He may have drank too much water. Another thing that can happen to the dog's water bowl is worms can appear in it. A common complaint and question is, why are there parasites in my dog's bowl? Well, the veterinarian or other educated person will tell you, give your dog the 4 or 5 cups of water that it needs, watch the dog drink, and then leave the bowl alone. Let the bowl air dry or whatever else. So the owner could have saw worms in the dog bowl and left it out there for that reason. So This could have been an opportunity for the character to say, hey, what's going on with your dog? And the guy could have said, well, hey, we found some parasites in the dog bowl, and that's why we give him water whenever we need to. There's parasites, there's other insects flying around, and we found a worm in the dog bowl, so we decided to not leave water out for the parasites to get into. Mosquitoes can lay their larvae in the dog bowl, and then the viewers could see some information being presented by the two characters and become educated. But instead, they're garnering hate for this guy, and they're garnering sympathy for the dog, sympathy that is not necessarily needed. So, another thing is the leash. A lot of times, dogs get hit by cars because they're strays. A stray dog passed out under the hot sun after it got hit by a car. So, stray dogs are a huge issue. So, they could have used this confrontation to actually elevate this guy. I think this guy here, the dog owner, he's a good guy. He's probably one of the most responsible dog owners out there. People are constantly putting up on Facebook, please help me find my dog. He jumped the fence and he got my neighbor's dog pregnant. Well, this guy is preventing that kind of strife out in the dog world. He's preventing dogs from being hit. He's preventing dogs from running around. Maybe the neighbor kids were trying to feed his dog and his dog was not supposed to eat too much. Oftentimes people will walk by other people's yard and feed their neighbor's dog, and then the dog will get sick and the owner will wonder why. There's actually several articles that can be easily found about this. Veterinarians and other people experience this. People walk by and just give food to other people's dog, and you're not supposed to do that. So when Jack Reacher shows up with this little bag from, it looks like Dolores Market, he should have asked permission. Or he should have just not done it in the first place. And that's another thing that kind of slips under the wire. At no time does Jack Reacher introduce himself to the man that owns the dog. Like, hello, sir. Hi, are you having a very nice day? Is that your pupper doggo? No human interaction, no proper human interaction was put into this. So that's the hidden propaganda of this. When you watch this, the lesson you learn is that you don't have to introduce yourself to people. You don't have to assess the situation. As long as you're angry and hypervigilant, and as long as you're helping a dog, then you're in the right. Another thing that we notice, every time Jack Reacher interacts with the dog owner, he's there. There he is. He comes around the corner. He's like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing in my yard? I told you not to feed my dog. So this guy is a very attentive dog owner. Most people would allow their dog to bark all day, allow their dog to dig under the fence and bark at the neighbor's dog. The dog could run away and get hit by a car, and the owner would be completely unaware of it until the next day or several hours later. So our guy here that they're trying to demonize, he's actually doing a good job. This is one of the better pet owners out there right now. We notice again Jack Reacher, the furrowed eyebrow, this look of anger, like he's discovered something terrible. That's the hypervigilance, that's the anxiety, that's the poor decision making when you're in this hypervigilance mode. During this whole propaganda piece, we never see the dog panting until the very end. And the lack of panting is typically a good sight. Panting means the dog is dehydrated or having other stresses inside of the body. So that's another thing they could have used this to show people. Look, the dog isn't panting. He's probably okay. It's a sign to look for in the dog. And don't we tell our little kids that when they see a dog to look for like 10 or 20 different signs to avoid being bitten? They could have used this video to recognize the signs of the dog. Like, well, he's not panting. He's just laying there. He seems to be chill, so he's probably okay. They didn't look at any of those signs. They manufactured all of the supposed signs of abuse. I actually noticed the placement of where they tied the dog off. It seems pretty practical. They probably just did this for the movie so their takes could be easier. But this is actually a responsible dog owner way to do this. It has a swivel so the dog can go around, but maybe not reach the fence, which is good. Because if someone was harassing the dog, they wouldn't want the dog to reach the fence and bite them. And maybe they don't want the dog to reach the rocks to dig in or something like that. So the placement of this leash is actually thoughtful, and they could have given attention to that as well. So dogs will often eat too much and have to go in for surgery. Here's just an example of that. So that may be a reason to not go give your neighbor food for the dog. Not only do dogs eat too much food, they eat too much of everything. Dogs are absolute gluttons. They will eat the carpet and it will get caught up in their intestines. They will eat chunks of glass, toilet paper, all kinds of things like that. So perhaps our dog owner here didn't want that house to be ruined. There's a chance that he was just house sitting. There's a chance that he was renting. There's a chance that there's a pregnant dog in there. But whatever the case is, the dog in question may have chewed up something in the house. It could have chewed up puppies from a pregnant female. It could have chewed up the couch. It could have swallowed some yarn from a canvas bag and needed to be out in the yard, so when it finally took a huge crap, that it would be in the yard, not in the house. The dog they use this propaganda piece is an old dog. You can tell because some of the teeth are partly rotted. The dog has the white eyebrows. But this dog is actually pretty well cared for. You don't see a bunch of the plaquing on here. You don't see a giant belly. A lot of people's dogs will just sit at home and eat human food, Cheetos, Burger King, Whoppers, and the stuff like that. So this dog is actually pretty well cared for, wherever it came from. So they could have gave accolades to the dog owner. Well, look at this dog. It's very old, but it's still in pretty good health. And another thing, the dog's teeth. Whatever Jack Reacher gave that dog to eat, there's a chance that the dog could have had bad teeth, and the reason that the owner wasn't giving it food is because it just had some kind of dental care. Dogs' teeth can get very damaged from eating too many things. Like I showed you before, a dog will literally chew up a rock or chew up other things. So there's so many reasons to not give this dog food that could have easily been brought to light and shared with our audience if Jack Reacher would have treated the dog owner with a little bit of respect. And they really try to demonize the dog owner. They have the dog owner act angry and point a finger and come running at them. But isn't that the normal reaction if someone is trying to kidnap your dog? Wouldn't that be the YouTube comments primary comment if we saw somebody tell a story that 2 men snuck into my yard and kidnapped my dog? They really try to demonize this guy. I mean, we got a water hose out here, so there's water available. We have a dog bowl, so the dog can be given water. There's no reason to demonize the dog owner. So they showed Jack Reacher punching this guy in the face. So, what about when dogs bite people? They say the dog must have been abused in the past. Well, you're setting yourself up for a circle of abuse. You're going to punch this guy in the face because he doesn't want his dog kidnapped, and then act like that's cool. Well, now you're setting this guy up to be angry at the next set of people that come into his yard if he's ever caring for someone else's dog. And he's going to use more violence against the next person like this. You're setting up a chain of violence. Could have easily said something else, could have easily chilled out. You could have easily just brought a bottle of water to this guy when you went to the store to pick up those dog biscuits. Now, of course, we know this is all set up. These people are all paid actors. But if you notice, when they take the dog to the car, the dog goes right for the car. The dog has been trained to go to that car before. So, if anything, they did this guy a favor. He didn't want to take care of the dog. The dog was out in his yard. The dog was a slight inconvenience to him. Yet he was still taking pretty good care of the dog. So, here is the dog in the car, panting. So now the dog is finally panting. They got the fake blood on the dog's neck. So panting indicates excitement or anxiety. So now the dog has anxiety. So they grabbed the dog, they pulled him into the car, and the dog jumped in the car, and now he's excited. So this is actually a time for concern. You got this dog in the car. The dog may need to go to the bathroom really bad. The dog may have been given too many dog biscuits, and that stoppage in his stomach might be a little bit worse. So now is actually the time to be concerned about the dog, not when the dog was laying in the yard just chilling out. And again, we see this Jack Reacher, hyper vigilant. He has this look on his face like he's so angry. I just crushed a dog abuser. Like, what if this is so great, if dog ownership and dog saving is so great, why do all these people look so pensive and irritated? They're just promoting this anger, this whole anger thing. You know, what happened to this? If having a dog next to you in the back seat of a car is so great, why wouldn't you be like, "Yay, I rescued a dog, having a great day"? What's up with this constant need to be angry at everything? Even as he pets the dog at the very end of this skit, this furrowed eyebrow, this look of like, he's not even happy for the dog. It's like, look at me, I saved you. Aren't I big and tough? The dog really doesn't even know what's going on. I'm just in the back of a car, somebody's patting me on the head. So that has been a look at what I believe to be a fairly responsible dog owner. The dog is restrained, the dog is fed, the dog has lived a aged life, and the dog has water available if it needs it. And we do not know what is going on in this man's life. He may be refinishing a floor on the inside of the house. He may have one of probably thousands of reasons for the dog to be outside in the yard. And how much better would our world be if we could just walk up to people and say, "Hey, how are you doing today, sir? May I share my opinion about your dog with you and see if I'm correct?" With all of the people that watch these kind of dog propaganda videos, even for dogs, we could make the world better for dogs. Because this is not a zero-sum situation. People that are up in the dog propaganda love, they think that hurting humans equals better life for dogs. But the better world that our humans provide for us, the better that the dog's life is going to be. Because everything that dogs get is from humans. So if you walk around trespassing on people's property, punching them in the face, stealing their dog, stealing their dog collar, you're just setting them up to go repeat that vengeance on another human or another dog. You punch that guy in the face. If this guy was already emotionally unstable, he might want to go punch someone else in the face. And he's going to find someone weaker to punch in the face, just like this jackass did right here. He punched that guy in the face because he could, not because of any other reason. So why not make the world better for everybody? And if you do like dogs, then still, this is a valid concept. Take a look at the comments to understand what I mean. People say he did what we all wanted to do in that situation. So everybody out there wants to go punch people in the face because they can get away with it, and you're promoting that. That's pretty sad. One last thing. So our dog owner at one point in the video mentions to Jack Reacher, so all the things going on in this world and you're worried about a dog. In the description will be a few links for everybody to check out. There are a lot of issues in society that happen right next to houses that are filled with spoiled dogs. In this case, it was 9 children hidden in a basement in a community that was what we could call a dog worshipping community. And there's several stories like this, such as the James Cox Orlando story. In this house went on some atrocities, but they were also dog spoiling, dog loving people. And when you're hyper vigilant like Jack Reacher, you run around worrying about dogs, and you see a dog being spoiled and you think everything's okay. Well, there's a lot more to be concerned about. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the comments. What did I miss? What did you like about it? See you guys later.